Hey everyone, and welcome back to a series where I like to talk about my favorite stories across any media. And I'll be talking about the first video game story with the Life is Strange series. There are 5 games in this whole series, but there are 3 main title ones, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So, let's start with the first. The story takes place in the fictional town of Arcadia Bay, Oregon, with Max Caulfield as the main character. The story begins when Max arrives in her hometown to attend a prestigious academy to pursue photography. While in the restroom, she overhears an intense confrontation of 2 students that leads to a gun going off. She desperately reaches out and she wakes up back in her classroom.
Whoa! What the fuck? How can that be? I was in the bathroom. He shot that poor girl.
And later reunites with her best friend, who she hasn't seen in 5 years. Her friend Chloe asks for her help to help her find her other close friend Rachel, who went missing 6 months ago. And it was pretty unique. I've played quite a few different decision-making games, and in this one, you could freely choose the other decision if you wanted to. Of course, there are going to be different kind of outcomes or repercussions. In its story and the characters, I think it really does outperform the rest of the series. And a lot of the fans also think so too. But the second game actually does come pretty close to being better than the first. In this story, it's about 2 brothers, Sean and Daniel Diaz, who become fugitives after a misunderstanding with a police officer whose dad is killed and they are blamed. At the same time, the younger brother awakens his telepathic ability and destroys their surroundings. In this one, you play as the older brother, Sean Diaz, and in this one you have to both protect your younger brother and you have to teach him how to use his abilities.
Daniel, do it!
The story isn't as super compelling as the first one, because it is about the 2 brothers escaping to Mexico, and each episode in it is such a different scenario. Usually in games, when you have to protect someone, it's such an annoying chore. But with this, you have a certain amount of responsibility, because you are looking after your little brother. And I really felt like the decisions being made in this game were far more important than the ones from the other one. Because with all the endings, it both takes in consideration of how well you teach him to be as a person and with how well he should handle his abilities. And this one was actually my favorite in the series. It really did put a unique perspective on having to take care of someone else, and that really put a big emphasis on this. This one actually released fairly recently, and it was kind of underwhelming. This takes place in Haven Springs, a beautiful small mining town where Alex Chan moves in with her brother. After a kid goes missing playing in the mountains, you and your friends go to find him, but at the same time, a scheduled mining blast goes off and your brother is killed. Alex has actually always had her ability, which is to be able to share strong emotions with people. And that's kinda lame after seeing telekinesis and, time travel.
What emotion is this?
In the story, you have to actually find out who killed your brother, because the company was called about the kid missing in the mountains, and were asked to delay the scheduled mining blast.
I can do this.
There's honestly not a lot I can say about this one. It was by far not my favorite. With characters, you'll learn that they're pretty cool, they're supportive, but that's really it. And it was very short too. I beat it in maybe 8 hours. And the freedom of making a decision almost wasn't even there. There was no impact on what you chose. More than enough times you would make a decision and it would just continue on a single story. The graphics and design were actually entirely better than the other ones. Overall, it's an impressive series that makes itself unique from other decision-based games, and I'll always love it for its deep connections to its character, and its ability to actually take in account of your decisions and actually make an impact on its ending. And a lot of games kinda don't do that well.